Live from the apocalypse. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. This is State of the Game. Aptly episode 169. You gotta have it. So I am your high thread count host, Dano. The good stuff. And my co-host, you'll be interested to know, was almost in the Barbie movie, but he was cut. He was cut. One of the Kens, and he was cut. So, you know what? I don't think you should hold it against him, but it's a good learning experience.
I'll be in the sequel though. They said they called me for that.
Yep, they're calling him for the sequel. I appreciate it. So, thank you for being here every week. We have two monumental figures of this. We have, like, production-wise, the Phil Jackson of 2023. Just like if we were just interviewing Steel Tip Dove, I could just kick back, put my hand on my chin, and ask him about No Sash all fucking day. We could have hours of me asking him about No Sash because I love goddamn album. But we have him, and we're lucky to have him. He's the MVP of 2023, production-wise, hands down.
Thank you.
And he's not done making skicks, so we'll have him. But
no, not done yet.
And the evil genius, State Gargoyle. We're talking about somebody who has taught me a lot throughout this time, this situation, and been very kind with his time and with his intelligence. We're talking about Faboi Sharif. I wanted to give you credit off top, Sharif, because I think a lot of people talk about the mood that you evoke, how unique you are, but you're fucking brilliant. You're fucking really smart, and I don't think people say that shit enough.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. I'm always happy whenever I'm back on State of the Game, man. This is my 3P. So it's always, it's about to get crazy.
So to catch Dove up, because I love talking to Sharif. Sharif's awesome. But Kay is also exactly not the person who should listen to Fatboi Sharif. And it is fantastic to make him listen to it and to make it. He is like, he's much more like a smooth Teddy Pendergrass evening.
Yeah, I do like my Teddy Pendergrass. Yeah.
Much more
right,
that
we'll have some for you soon, man. We're working in all genres, so don't worry about it.
No, I mean I've adapted. The first time I heard it, it took me back, but now that I'm a couple projects in, that I'm like, okay, like I roll with it now.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was gonna say, remember the first time we was on, it was like, I get it a little bit, but I don't really get it. Then the second time you was like, oh shit, I get it more. And you might get it more. See?
Yeah. It grows on you, yeah. Like this project I was doing, was like, okay, this is cool. I like this. Like, yeah, like I fell right into it.
No, I appreciate you, bro. Always.
Yeah, I love that about Kay Sharif. That Kay is the kind of peer person who can look you in your eyes and say, I don't know what the fuck that shit is, but it sounds good, and you worked hard on it, and I'm sure there's something there. I'm gonna keep listening.
Absolutely.
Shout out to y'all too, because I've been loving everything I've been doing with the show. Y'all been staying consistent with it, and it's always dope. So, hell yeah.
Whew, last week we talked to Fiend. That was crazy. That was crazy.
Is that an artist, rapper, producer?
No, Fiend from No Limit. From No Limit, yeah.
Holy, yeah, I haven't thought of or heard that name
International
in
Jones.
so long.
International Jones.
That's crazy. All right, well,
he's
cool.
got a new
I'll have to check that out.
He's got a new album. Yeah, it's fun.
Don't act like you don't know make them say on, dog.
Come on. Decay was a hell of a thing, man. And it's I'm glad that you have your Backwoods debut and everybody's able to hear it. There's a lot to talk about because there were a lot of choices made here. And I've heard a lot of the podcasts. I'm very interested. in, I know that for me, Gandhi Loves Children is one of the most important releases of the last 10 years.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
And it sounds like Dove felt that when he was starting this project of like, I don't want to be doing anything in the realm of anyone that's done anything else with Sharif. Am I making that up?
No, not necessarily, but like, that just kind of happened naturally. Like I just wanted to work with someone that was doing something so unique, and see what happened, because I felt like I had the capability to do something unique just because how weird all my beats are. So I was like, I'll bet I could meet this guy where he's at, and we could make some very different left field stuff than the stuff our peers are making. Let's give it a shot. So gave it a shot.
Everybody loves Dove. Everybody records audio. Their audio at Dove's place. Dove is very gregarious and lovely, but there's a darkness in Dove. God damn it, there's a darkness in there because these
in the music for sure, bro.
These projects that you work on, you are ready with the darkness when you need to feed them the darkness, man.
Yeah, man. I consume so much music that a large percent of the music that I consume is going to be as dark as it can get, because I'm just going all over the map. So when I go to like pick a sound or pick a sample or synthesizer to chop, it's just a coin flip whether it's going to be something sort of melodic and pretty or something creepy as fuck, and then I'm just going to roll with whatever goes first.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So when did you start working on Decay? When did you guys start working on it?
I want to say we started 2020.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it was kind of like the first weekend that Gandhi came out. I want to say October 16th, 2020.
Okay.
Dove reached out to me on IG that weekend just on something like, yo, project is dope. Keep doing your thing. I was already familiar with his work, was a fan of his work. So I'm just like, yo, appreciate you. Like, let's we got on the phone probably a little bit later that week, and he was just like, yo, come through the crib. Like, I got the studio, come hear some beats, and the rest was history. It kind of just started.
Yeah, that's awesome. And if you haven't heard the story, Kay, I'll sum up several podcast appearances. They kind of got together. Dove played some beats. Sharif picked what was interested in him. They started making the songs, and the songs influenced the next batch of songs. And then by 2 sessions, they kind of knew what they were doing. Am I summing that up? Does that make sense? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, very much so. Like that first couple sessions really brought about a sonic direction, and we just took that path and built out from there. Couple of the songs were a couple of the songs that ended up on the album were made very early, like in the second and third session. So yeah.
Yep.
What was the first one that you guys made? What was the one that set the tone?
Brandon Lee and one or two others kind of right at the same time.
I was gonna say, I think some of the early ones we started might have didn't make the cut, but I would say once
Phantasm
we did Phantasm. No. Phantasm was last. No. Phantasm was early.
Yeah.
So I would say Brandon Lee, Phantasm, and Carousel. Because Carousel was one of the early ones that we loved it, but we didn't think it really went with the whole theme of the album. So we cut it from the album and ended up coming back on the Backwoods High Bias. So it's for sure.
But yeah, a couple of the very early tracks were definitely Brandon Lee, Phantasm, East Hollywood was up there early too. East Hollywood was sort of a challenge, meaning like I was playing that beat and being like, this beat is so weird, no one ever wants to rap on it, but I like it. The timing is chaotic as hell, and he was like, give me that shit, I'm gonna rap on it. And then he killed it.
My favorite time
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's, I mean, and producers do take advantage of that, of like, oh, now I can give this beat that's been in the back, I can bring this out, and Sharif will be interested in it. Yep. So yeah, it's Sharif, do you have, how long do you take to kind of form your timing around a unique signature and make it work for you vocally?
It varies, honestly. Like, for example, like East Hollywood, I want to say took that home, uh probably slept to the beat for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then kind of just came up with the flow and pattern of what I wanted to do from that. And then let's say the flip side, if you get a beat like I'm trying to think of another beat that people might consider a little off, that's not just like something like the sixth floor. Something like that. Something like the sixth floor I just kind of wrote in the studio. Where like the beat, I heard the beat and I kind of came up with the concept right there and kind of just sat in my corner and kind of jotted it down. Probably took like an hour altogether with the writing and recording for that track. So sometimes it's something, and the other time it's like, all right, I want to do a math project with this. Let me really take this out of here and sit with it and sit back with it and go back to it and all of that type of thing.
Yeah, sixth floor, you are like interacting with the sample. You know? Yeah. So you must have you had to be considerate on that. That's awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of this. Your flow is really different on this. I forget which song it is. There's a few songs on here where you're really bouncing, like on
Ashwood.
Huh?
I was gonna say, is it Ash Wednesday? That's the one everybody keeps saying.
Oh, yeah. Yep, love Sharif on this. Real bounce, Ash Wednesday. Yep.
Yeah,
he raps fast on that.
No, that's all thanks to Dove. Like, he was definitely giving me sounds and canvases that I wasn't hearing from other producers. So it let me kind of sit back and have fun like a kid in the candy store. Like, okay, word.
Yeah, was there anything like in terms of like skill wise? Was there anything that you were trying to, any like skills that you were trying to hone, or things that you were trying to work on in this project?
No, I kind of just didn't want it to be nothing like the other projects. So I didn't want you to hear this and think about Gandhi, or think about Havana, or think about Planet Unfaithful or Cyber City. I kind of wanted to, like I was saying, Dove kind of came with different type of production than other producers were giving me, and kind of what he was doing with the sound was so dope. I was like, all right, I just want to push myself on this, and forms of writing and forms of flow and all of that. Even some of the concepts, it's more personal than other projects, just because that's what the beat was pulling out of me from what Dove was bringing to the table.
Yep. No, there's
Dove, was it?
What?
Sorry, Dove. Was there anything that you wanted to work on in terms of your skills with this project?
Yeah, I wanted to, and kind of after it's out now, I kind of am realizing something about it and look forward to maybe doing in the future. Is like Sharif would give me a ton of overdubs in different cadences, different volumes, different tone and pitch, and even timing. He would go off on the timing on purpose to make it even more chaotic and stuff like that. And so having all that in the post-production era, where mixing the stems together with the vocals and stuff like that, having more elements like that was tricky in the most positive way, like getting to really layer that stuff. So I look forward to doing even more of that stuff, developing that skill even more, because he goes crazy with those ad libs and dubs and stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, the there's things that Dove's production taught me about Sharif. that was kind of cool. Like what some people do with Sharif, I think, is throw lots of noises behind him and around him. Cyber City is the best example, right? To try and kind of bring the chaos of Sharif to life. Dove was the opposite. He was like, no, a gentle strumming of a guitar is terrifying when Sharif is in front of him. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize that, but it's true.
Yeah, he's doing a lot with his vocals. There's saying the voice as an instrument becomes more and more clear when you work with someone like Sharif.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of reminded me of like because I think you guys both do a great job with space on this album, and and like Dan said, like sometimes the most horrifying things are the quiet ones. I mean, those subtle, like, anxiety inducing moments. So were there any like, how do I explain? Were there any like non-musical influences in terms of this album?
I'm trying to think, because when we was recording we was always just in the studio, kind of just like, I'll go over it, we'll get right to work. He'll show beats, I write, record. I would say outside of that, we both definitely always check out a bunch of new music and we both fan of music that other people may not be the biggest fan of. Like a lot of different experimental stuff that we would sit and listen to in the studio and just talk about vibe. Even like certain stuff that I would watch like at home or just read about that kind of like inspired me on just where in my head I was like, all right, the concept of this project has to hit all these different emotions, all these different levels.
I think that we listen to a lot of music. Not every artist that I collaborate with, and Sharif, you can speak to this. Not every artist, music producer, or rapper listens to a ton of music. Like that's not a given, right? That they listen to a ton of new music. Sharif and I seem to both listen to lots of new music when it comes out, and old music, but like new stuff, and kind of really stay checking in on new random music by people we're a fan of or people we never heard of. And I think that that's a huge key in being able to be experimental and comfortable being weird, because you just consume so much stuff. You're inspired by it. To be honest, you're just directly inspired by so much different music.
Yeah, nah, and Dove, I don't know about you, but like for me, like especially during like the writing of the project, in my head, I had certain projects and certain music that inspired me up just as a kid, that I was like, all right, I wanna grab this type of emotion that was outside of hip hop. So from stuff like In Utero from Nirvana to to I don't know, Daniel, if you're familiar. It was this group, Silverchair, from back in the day. Yeah, this
Come
album
on, man. Silverchair is big, man. Silverchair is big. They weren't some small band.
I had a very annoying friend who was nuts for Silverchair. So
even like the second Pearl Jam album, like it was a lot.
I love it. I fucking hate Pearl Jam, but I love some of their songs.
During the whole time period, it was a lot of grunge rock stuff that I was listening to, because that was kind of like I was telling y'all before, like that was big for me coming up as a kid. That was super influential on me before hip hop. So
yeah,
I had Pearl Jam ruined for me by one individual person who played it on a 6-hour car ride and played just Pearl Jam. So after that car ride, I could not listen to that motherfucker's voice warble ever again. What? Say it again, Sharif?
I said, shout out Eddie Vedder. Stop hating, man.
I understand this situation. Like I had a roommate in the Army who was nuts for Cisco, and he would come in at 4 a.m. and turn Cisco on and dance. and like on his side of the room, and I was just like, fuck. And so, you know, I have.
I'll tell you this.
It doesn't even have a large catalog.
No. Thankfully. Yeah.
This brings up the most important question of the show. Besides Decay, besides influencers, if you're on a 6-hour ride, Dano, put this on your social media. Tell people this is the main debate on this episode.
Okay.
If you want a 6-hour ride, are you binging Cisco or are you binging Pearl Jam? That's what I want to know from people.
I mean, I'm going to take Pearl Jam because to me, Pearl Jam can be background music. It's like
I'm taking a left off the cliff.
It's fun. I can live with Eddie.
So wait. Okay. So let's say if you take the most popular of each. So would you rather listen to Thong Song for 6 hours or Alive for 6 hours?
I mean, Alive, I guess. You know, it's like, but it's crazy to me. They played Alive in my gym class during warm-ups. Like, that's how old I am.
Is Alive just one song? Isn't that a whole album?
It's a song. It's a song. It's the album.
All right.
Yeah. See, come on. The album is 10. Alive is one of the singles that was off at 10.
Oh, I'm still alive. Oh,
right. Okay.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yep. So, but the other Dove stuff. Dove taught me an interesting thing because I take notes on this stuff, right? So I was taking notes on every song today, and I kept writing down like this song is a tension builder. This song has no release and just ratchets up your tension. And Dove taught me like, and this speaks to the original Sharif rollout when you went around telling everybody you weren't horrorcore to let people know. Sharif doesn't make horror movies, he makes thrillers. These are thrillers, dark psychological thrillers, and this Decay is a thriller. It builds tension. There's a story. I believe there's a story. And I don't know it, but I know the questions about it. So
yeah, thank you. I mean, yeah, they like they're tense beats. They're on purpose, you know, made to sound
awesome.
Claustrophobic.
Awesome. And the difference, obviously, Kay, horrorcore people are trying to find ugly shit to say out of the back of their minds. Sharif is telling you shit. A lot of this shit really is happening, you know? So, although, yeah, we'll talk about werewolf sex workers. Kay's got a lot of questions about we'll get into it nitty gritty as we go on. But, hey, I wanted to say something about this thing, and I don't know if you caught it. The first thing that Sharif says on Phantasm on the first song, escape prison cell on that dark long night, raise hell, save monsters. So this album starts and ends with prison imagery, right? Isn't that last clip about leaving prison?
Oh, okay, Dano. My man Dano, get it.
See, there's a lot of Sharif interviews where people are like, you make spooky music. Good for you. Like, how did you think of this stuff? But like, there's a story here. There's a story here. And I feel you on, like, I don't know. I was thinking about I had some friends back in the day where they were like, I kind of went off and was like, I can't watch movies where I feel like the director's just fucking with me, just throwing shit at me to freak me out. I don't care. Like, and he's like, what about David Lynch? I'm like, David Lynch knows what's going on. If I had a beer with David Lynch, he could tell me what Lost Highway was about. He could tell me what Mulholland Drive was about. Like, he knows everything about his world, you know? I know he knows, and that's enough, you know?
I need that beer on the Lost Highway one because the other ones I get, but Lost Highway.
But like Sharif, I always feel like you know what you're trying to say with this world. And there's like, if you listen to Decay enough, there's things that are discussed multiple times. There's themes. You know what I mean?
No, and see, I'm glad that you said that because I'll even go to just, I'll break down kind of just the concept of the title and kind of just how we put everything together. So, like I said, we started making it in 2020. So that was the height of everybody literally going through the craziest, one of the craziest times ever that we know about, from financial struggles to mental illness to suicide at a crazy rate to everything going on with the sex work at a crazy all-time high. Like, so to me, like, it was kind of like literally our society and what we know died and had to get built back up again from scratch. So even that's how you get the title Decay. And even if you look at the cover, it's the abandoned house. It look all crazy, but if you look through the other side of the cover, it's sun coming in. The windows on the other side. Then you got the little kid handprinting on the wall. It's kind of all just what we kind of wanted to give our opinion on where we seen the world going and happening. And yeah, I definitely say like it's definitely underlining themes from certain songs. Like even if you just look at certain religious themes, like from the christening to Ash Wednesday to the kingdom, like all of that type of stuff. Like so, nah, definitely.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Talk to me about how you felt about this one. What stood out? Were there any important runs for you? How did you hear the album, dude?
You know, it's interesting because like I knew that the songs were connected, but I still don't know how per se. But like I think the imagery, it's very like in jazz they have that term like John Coltrane. It's was it like wall of sound, or maybe that's even Phil Spector or something.
Right.
So I mean, and I think it's like this because Sharif he presents a lot of images, like, and he uses a lot of imagery, and his songs are very image driven, and it's like overwhelming in a way, but it's like I don't know how to, I think it works on like a subconscious level because like there's so many images in the song, but even by the end of the song, I still get like a feel for what he was trying to communicate, the emotion, you know what I mean? But I don't know subconsciously in my conscious what it is, but subconsciously, like, okay, like I'm getting at what he's trying to, the emotion he's trying to portray.
Yeah,
I don't know if that makes sense, but
it does.
I get exactly what you're saying. I'll say this then. I'll say remember that in your head and go back to certain songs like I would say kind of like the tail end of the album. Because to me that's where like to me that's where a lot of the themes kind of obviously it's the end of the album, but that's where we kind of put the ribbon on a lot of the themes. So I would say songs like The Christening, songs like The 6th Day, Scarhead, Boogie Monster, Farewell Outfit. That whole run right there, to me, like even when we recorded it, we were saying like, this is going to be this part of the album is going to be is going to shake some heads because we know how strong that bottom part, because you get the opening of the story, which is East Hollywood, the Phantasm. Then you get the middle, the interlude, big piece of the kingdom, and then you kind of get the final version of the story, which we were trying to get when it comes to that last half of the album. So definitely remember what you said and go back to that last section of the album. And I think more pieces to connect to you for sure.
Yeah. Did you have an organization system that you used to make this album?
No,
and what I mean by that is like, how did you like because I mean, it's obvious that you had like a plan in place. Like, how did you organize your ideas, the themes, and really create like a connecting fabric for the whole album?
Oh, well, with me, I always kind of do that by just kind of stepping out of it and then stepping back into it. So like we were saying, Brandon Lee and Boogie Monsters was two of the early songs we recorded. So that's before even half of the rest of the album is even recorded or written. But them two songs, I knew what I wanted to say, and I knew it was other elements of it that needed that to make sense. So I kind of stepped out of it and wrote other stuff around it to make it connect, like later on in the story.
No, it's I would say, Kay, like the thing that's really interesting about Sharif is that Sharif lyrically is like a puzzle builder. You know, he's building puzzles because he's using the images as pieces and then putting the pieces together to create this bigger picture. But like you can just look at the piece and be pretty impressed. Like he's Hollywood, right? He says, "Pardon the apartheid seamstress." That's 4 words, but it's a mind fuck, right? Like that's the power of Sharif, is to be like the Nazi needle marks, and you're like, oh shit! Like he's able to really drop that puzzle piece in the middle and then build off it with the other puzzle pieces until you get something.
No, and I also say like, because I'm on state of the, because I'm on here with fam, I'm gonna give y'all a jewel.
Do it.
I haven't said. I'll say like, if you kind of listen to all of the projects, I would say it's kind of all connected because I always connected with certain things. So even going back, God, You Love Children, Planet Unfaithful, that came 3 projects later. Even Cyber City, the Adolescence joint.
Yep.
Stuff I'm talking about on there, I bought back on Boogie Monster and Farewell To. Even Preaching in Havana, Nazi Needle Marks, I bought that back on Measuring Spoon Techniques. So I'll have like an idea, kind of like a concept, maybe like 2 or 3 years before I want to fully put it to something. I'll just be like, yo, that's dope. I want to touch on that later on. Like, it's not time for this yet. This idea, it's too soon for this idea. Or it's too soon for this particular thing. Like for example, it's a song, y'all not going to know till the project come out, but it's a song on this where I literally said the next title of the next project that I'm going to drop. Like,
wow.
That's awesome. That's great. It's kind of fun as a creator to have your mind be ahead of you in that way and be able to be like, I don't even know how I knew that. That's kind of cool. Like I've always enjoyed that part of it.
I appreciate you, bro.
But yeah, no, my favorite run on this K is 10 through 17. 10 through 17 is my shit.
Side B.
Kingdom to Farewell Outfit.
My favorite songs are in order. My favorite song is Green Wing Shoulder Padding.
Produced by Adibop. That's
my
the only
second
track that has a
favorite song
co-producer.
is Measuring Spoon Techniques. Yeah. So they're in reverse order. But Measuring Spoon Techniques is such an incredible beat. I love it so much.
Thank you, man.
Yes. No, that's one of those beats where, like I said, the genius is still tipped off. I remember he played me that shit, and I'm like, yo, I got to take this shit with me. And I want to... I probably slept to that shit like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And the whole song kind of came to me in like a dream with certain like shapes and colors. And it was easy to kind of put together after that.
Yeah, you've said that before, that you take the beat home and you listen to it kind of endlessly to internalize the rhythm of it and then start writing. Which is what separates you from a lot of like offbeat rappers that are just kind of not worrying about where they are within whatever pocket. You are kind of creating a pocket each time. Is that fair to say?
Nah, definitely.
Good deal. No, it's whew. I mean, there's always a moment, Kay, on a Sharif project where he says some shit, and I'm like, oh my God, was that a bad thing to say? And then I'm like, nope, he's right. And he said, greeting genocidal Jews with grilled salmon. And I was
no.
What?
Juice.
No.
What?
Genocide and Juice.
Oh, the Coup album. Okay. I was like, oh, okay.
Juice, like with the grilled salmon juice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I said genocide and juice. Grilled salmon.
Yes. Yeah. That is appreciated.
Not Jews. Maybe I should have mixed that better.
I was like, hey, there are genocidal Jews, so I can't hate. That's real.
Genocide and juice.
Genocide and juice. Yeah, but that's a good thing to ask, Kay. Were there any hooks that stuck with you on this? Because I love the hooks.
Yeah, I think, which one is it? It was one of the first, I believe. Let me get the track list up. For me, I really loved like the first two. I think it was either Designer Drugs or East Hollywood.
Yeah. Designer Drugs, man. Your voice dances all over that.
Yeah, it was Designer Drugs. Yes.
You're portraying real inebriation on that. It's real cool. But Brandon Lee might be my favorite hook of the thing. It's great.
Yeah, Brandon Lee is cool.
But Scarhead is incredible, and it digs deep in my head.
That was definitely one of the songs like that. When I heard that beat from Dove, I was like, okay, you got to put on your writing chops on this. Like, you got to do something special with this. So even like from the intro to the chorus on it, like that's definitely one of my favorite songs I ever wrote. Like, that shit is beautiful.
Yeah, I like that song a lot. It stands apart, like it fits within the album, but it also stands apart a little bit. It's got those electronic sounds and like more of a even more spacey sound. Like, cool track.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a single, which is not usual for Sharif to have something that stands like that. And I wrote on my notes that it sounded like the rattling of ghost chains, like in A Christmas Carol. Like it was just that vibe to the beat, which is great. There's a lot of clanking sounds on here that fit together really well. Big clanking sounds. Ash Wednesday has that too. Yeah. What is it? Yeah. Prisoner of Jesus, I wrote down, this song feels key to the album. Kept Jesus captive downstairs in a glass case.
It's funny that Dan, I'm not sure how big a movie buff you are. Are you a big movie buff? Right?
Okay.
Oh no, I had text you because you asked me.
Yep.
Prisoner of Genius, Jesus. To me, anybody who ever saw the movie Pie would understand that song.
Mm-hmm. Arguing whether
movie Pie?
Yep, the movie Pie.
P-I-E?
I think
no,
it's the symbol.
P-I.
Oh.
No, the
okay.
Yep.
3.14, like the number.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't remember if I ever saw it, but I remember it being
a great
thing.
Movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Watch it when you get a chance, like.
Yep. It's good. Arguing perceptions of reality with Rabbi Cohen. That's great. Yeah. There's Yeah, there's all kinds of really cool shit on here. Think pieces, quiet wars, silent weapons. You know?
Woo!
Oh, jeez. There's a lot about captivity in here, right? And there's a lot about religion, but there's also a lot about sickness, right? There's a lot of talk about drugs making you sick, whether it's pharmaceuticals or otherwise, and people making themselves sick, people getting sick. Uh, there's a lot of personal physical decay happening, like in the bars, you know. Is it did you consciously think about that, Sharif? Were you like, damn, there's a lot of people rotting away in this shit? Like,
for me, it was kind of like more personal because even like I was saying, around the time we started it, we all know what was going on in the world with COVID and everything else. But on a personal end, I had a grandfather who was extremely sick that I was taking care of, and just seeing what he was going through and all of that kind of got me and made me write certain ways like around that time period.
yep. Stomach cancer spread its wings on the sixth floor. Whew. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I think you're right. That there's a lot of real shit on here, man. You know, there's a lot of real shit. And are people committing suicide? You know, there's a lot of real shit going on, man.
No, I appreciate you, bro.
I just want that to be out there when decay is discussed, that it's not an extravagant portrayal of anything. It's real shit. There's a lot of real shit going on. And did you so it's 17 songs. When did you guys know it was done?
Well, I wanted to try to make a 40-minute album. So we ended up cutting a lot of songs, kind of for time, but mostly first, you know, we didn't cut them just for time. Like, we wanted to make the best album we could, but we did have a goal of around 40 minutes. At least I had that goal, and Sharif stuck with me on that, which I appreciate.
That's awesome.
Yeah, nah. And yeah, like the songs that we cut, it's funny too, because like the songs, all of the songs was dope, but they just didn't fit into the world of decay that we was writing for at the time. But we still got those songs, so you definitely may hear those songs later on down the line in different, in another form of fashion.
Keep everything. Keep everything. But that makes sense. Yeah, you've got to curate the world, and
and to be clear, 40 minutes is about how much you fit on a single vinyl LP. So otherwise you're getting into double LP territory. So I've been bit by the vinyl bug. So a lot of projects that I work on, I try to make between 30 to 40 minutes.
So what was the last song that you guys made, and when was it made?
I want to say it probably was, really, to tell you the truth, I want to say it was probably DMT.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because it was
that was
that
definitely
day.
late.
I want to say it was that day that Borg was in the studio, and we recorded that, Ash Wednesday, and the Christening. So out of those three, that was like the last session we had. I remember, because everything that was kind of just post production and just looking back through everything.
And then when roughly when was this session that you made these songs?
Say it again?
Oh, you're saying when did we wrap recording?
Yeah.
Probably about a year. We probably recorded for probably less than a year, to be honest, right? Like, we probably recorded for what, 6 to 8 months or something, Sharif?
Yeah.
Okay. 6 to 8 months recording. rap principal recording. At that point, we knew we had no features, so it was just moving on to mixing and mastering, post production, then mixing, then mastering. And I did all the post production and I did all the mixing. Willie Green did the mastering, but I spent a good probably 2, 3, 4 months doing different mixes, different post production choices, going back and forth to Sharif, adding and subtracting stuff. And then we put it over to mastering. We submitted it for mastering after we had a deal with Backwoods.
And even after that, it was probably still another year.
Oh yeah. And then after that, it was a long time until it came out.
Just to make sure we want to make sure everything's great. Just with the rollout, kind of just making sure we had
shot
over the right
2 videos. And finished meaning we shot and edited them. Duns Cap shot and directed and edited the first video that's already out for Phantasm, and we have another one coming, but it was in the can before we released the album. We shot a bunch of promo stuff. We got pushed back by Backwoods for other reasons, like fantastic reasons that were all positive, like let's wait a little bit longer for A, B, and C, and that kept making sense. And it took a while to come out as well, but it was wrapped about a year, over a year ago.
Yeah, and it's good that High Bias came out and kind of got everybody talking, so that when you drop that pre-order link, everybody was on top of it.
And then I say it's even crazier because like I said, like it's always about kind of thinking 3 steps ahead when you putting out your art and music or whatever. So like even to me, we've been playing, like the album was already set to drop on Backwoods back when it was small, like when it was chess moves being played that people might not even peep. So
Black Spider-Man on Call Me When You're Outside.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Spider-Man will call me when you're outside. Me on Ethiops.
Right.
Yeah, Dove doing a lot of the beats on the Shrapnel album. We wanted to kind of have it kind of connect to that so people can, oh shit, I'm used to them together from this and I'm used to this relationship with this label and this artist. We want to kind of have it go where it wouldn't be random when it finally got like announced.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say that speaks to Backwoods. Backwoods is doing and it's going to come to life slowly because of how well they're doing it. Backwoods is world building, like universe building in a very real way with their artists, collaborations, and being on top of one another, foreshadowing and stuff like that. And that's kind of what Sharif is giving an example of.
That ties into what my question was. Like, what is the advantage of releasing a project with Backwoods, in your guys' opinion?
Yeah, Sharif, you can go first on that one.
Oh, well, yeah, besides, to me, like, them always just dropping always dope the quality and boundary pushing music, it's a spot where you can go and kind of have your music appreciated and they get the vision and they don't try to change nothing that you're doing. And that's how I always go for when I'm having a relationship with a label or other artists or anything of that nature. Like,
it's just good people, good business, smart people, smart business, and ridiculously creative. Like, which, you kind of do one of those triangle things, and oftentimes you get 2 out of the 3. You pick 2. Backwoods seems to really actually get, like all 3. They're really nailing a lot of stuff, and it's just ridiculous to be able to work with them. So the advantages are that I can't see any disadvantages.
I would say one of the things that sticks out to me from the outside, right, looking in, the best thing about Backwoods and what they've done is they've cultivated a fan base that's really excited to decode projects.
Sure. Yeah.
Like if you put out Bessie Elucid on a different label, it the fans wouldn't know what to do with it, right? The fans were excited to kind of figure out that world, and they were excited to figure out Decay. They were excited to pull apart this. Like, Backwoods fans are on social media posting lyrics, posting references, reading books about references.
Yeah.
It's different. That's different. That's not
Backwoods
something
officially has a cult following now,
no.
which is an interesting and exciting thing to kind of be a part of. And you know, they put out ridiculous, only quality work.
Oh yeah.
Yep. No, I'm with it. And yeah, this is a huge step for you. It's interesting when you talked about the trajectory. I thought about Dove, because Dove went from like, oh, they have the sound engineer who really records people's voices well, and to like, now people are like, Dove's my guy. He's the best. Nobody's better than Dove. And I was yelling at everybody about Dove's production being great from With Bud Ross. God damn it.
Thank you. Shout out to Arco Super for
Bud
executive
Ross.
Yeah.
Find it. Dove, absolutely. I was like, whoa, more people need to get beats from Dove.
No, and I was, that's the thing. Like, Dove was super OG just in general. Like, from a lot of work from legends in the blog scene y'all might not know about till now. So it's great to see his flowers and still being active. Like, and still being active, dropping quality work and boundary pushing work all the time. No label. Fuse Arrow. Talk to the people about Fuse Arrow or something, man.
Fuse Arrow, baby.
Yeah, I started a record label this year. Launched it with the project like that you were mentioning with Bud Ross, the follow-up project to that, which is All the Weight Feathers Don't Have. I don't know. Is all the same sample source material as the With Bud Ross project. I don't know if you know that, Dan.
I'm gonna let you finish. All the Weight Feathers Don't Have. We definitely talked about that on the show.
Okay, yeah. That was the follow-up to With Bud Ross, but that was the first record on my new label, which is just gonna I'm gonna try to press 100 to 300 pieces of vinyl of music that I produce. Stuff that maybe is can't really support a 500 to 1,000 piece release quite yet. I think it should, but we got to start smaller and get bigger labels to bite, so my label can be like sort of a launching pad for that. So I released projects with No Sag from New Kingdom, Alaska, Andrew, and I'm gonna keep doing more shit.
Yep. Yeah, Smoke Chain by Andrew's great.
That's something else. Me and Andrew's album was called The Trumpet's Obviously Been Drinking.
The Trumpet's Obviously Been Drinking. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome as well. Andrew's been killing it this year.
Shout out to Andrew.
All the Weight Feathers Don't Have is a great project. It's set up brilliantly. What I remember it most for, Dove, is that it really kicked off my notion that Don Will is my favorite guest rapper of 2023.
Don Will's the man, bro.
I just fucking love that verse so much on Smiling Statue.
Killed it.
Oh, fuck.
Don Will's got a pack from me. I gotta send him another one.
Don Will is a treasure. Yeah. So
aren't you about to see Don Will next weekend, Sharif?
Hell yeah, the Monday after next, out at Top Shelf for Hoboken.
Nice.
That's the homie. That shit's gonna be dope.
Yeah, we need more. We need more Don Will. But no, you've been killing it all year. I've appreciated it. And Sharif, they're still Planet Unfaithful loyalists. Yeah, I have to give you credit, because Preaching in Havana shattered the way I do end of year stuff. Did you hear about this?
I remember we was talking about it. I want to say we were talking about it the last time when Me Face and Gang was on. Refresh my memory.
So what? No, it was the end of year show. I was Dylan or something like that. I was like, this is going to be the last one that I call albums of the year and don't include EPs because if I can't talk about Preaching in Havana, what am I doing this for?
See, it's funny you say that because I always call Preaching in Havana a full length. Because you like to me it might be shorter, but look back at it. It's 14, 15 joints. To me, like I always looked at like when people said EP, I kind of let people get that off, but to me it was always a full length. Like
yeah. It's, and I was just like, I'm done parsing the difference, you know. I'm just gonna talk about music I love. I'm not what you know,
right.
This is my thing. I don't work for somebody who's yelling at me to only talk about albums. Like, so I can just change the fucking rules. Yeah.
And it's not about time because I feel like a lot of the shorter albums, they warp time in a way.
Yeah.
Like they can like you said, a short album can feel like a full album by the time you're done with it. And you see that with a lot of producers, I would say, and producers and artists over the last 3 years have just gotten more efficient with their production and I guess they're how they make songs, I think, and projects.
Yeah.
Now you got to think about it though, like going back to just the 70s and the late 60s. If you listen to Isaac Hayes' Butter Soul album, it's like 7 or 8 songs. Like
right, but they're like 10, 14 minutes long or something. Yeah.
But you could never call that an EP to me. That's
different.
Like an album like the Stooges Funhouse. It's like 9, 10 songs. To me, it's a full
class.
What I have a question. So what do you think, like for the producers and artists doing shorter albums, what do you think are the elements of a fulfilling project? Like how do you create, it's almost like a chef, like how do you create a fulfilling meal so that they eat it and then they're not hungry anymore and they're satisfied?
I mean, there's no good answer to that, right? You just gotta, it either happens or it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it can't be like 6 minutes, but it's gotta be
hey, I was in a creative writing class when I was and one of the teachers was like, what are the rules of creative writing? And everybody was like quiet and freaked out. And I said, every project has its own rules.
Yeah.
Every new thing you do has its own set of rules and you got to figure it out.
That kind of depends on the artist too, to me. That depends on the artist and what's going on with the project. Because I tell y'all this, probably the beginning of next year, I'm dropping a project that's going to test all of that. To me, like when you see how I drop it, like
how fucking great would that be if Dove, like everybody who came to see Dove, he's like, you need a song about beaches. We're going to the beach.
We'll sample Bette Midler.
Track 7, Dove goes to the beach. Always happens.
I find creativity in weird limits as well. So that's part of the 40-minute, 20-minute thing to me. If I'm going to make a project, I've been trying to focus, and I am focusing on singular me and one artist production. I'll produce the whole thing. And I'm really going to shoot for either 20 or 40-minute projects, because a 20-minute project I can still put on vinyl because I can put the instrumentals on side B. And then 40-minute projects, you can fit about 20 minutes on each side. So that's why you shoot for a 40-minute. That's why I shoot for a 40-minute album. And playing within those parameters kind of makes it fun for me sometimes, like getting creative to make songs shorter or longer with post-production and addition.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the opposite of Kay's question. Like, you're doing a 40-minute project. You know it's 40 minutes with Sharif. You're building tension, but Sharif's never gonna relieve the tension. Like, Sharif's not going to the beach, you know. So, what is, like, how do you structure it so that it doesn't wear the audience out, so that it goes through the ebbs and flows and takes you to the conclusion in a fulfilling way?
That really gets a lot of heavy lifting gets done by figuring out what your opener is going to be, figuring out what your closer is going to be, figuring out where this track needs to go right in the middle-ish. So you figure out like the big answers first, and then you kind of work within that. Because we knew we were going to be starting with Phantasm, so we're like, what do we do after that? And then you kind of work like that. We knew we were going to be closing with the farewell outfit. So it's like you kind of reverse engineer when you get the big answers first, like opener, closer, stuff like that.
Oh shit, Dove.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, I went all the way back to the first message. It says October 20th, 2020.
Yeah, Gandhi right after Gandhi.
Yeah, Gandhi Love Children is very dope. I said, much love. I've heard a lot of ill shit from you also. Let's connect. Sent you my number. Word. Let's get it. I'm doing some shit in my apartment, but I'm going to holler at you. The rest is history.
Boom.
Yeah.
10/20/20.
Yep, October 20th. So we're coming up on 3 years, in a couple months.
People locked in on that's awesome. But yeah, this sits really nicely and like in your discography, Sharif, which is looking very good. Like
I was gonna ask both of y'all where y'all put it. You and Kay, like with the other works. What do y'all put it as of now? I would say not for obviously. So.
I mean, for me, you can't really, like you said, I think you accomplished what you want. You can't really rank your projects because they're all different.
Word, thank you. Hell yeah, hell yeah.
You know, and that's by design. I think that's how you want it. That's how it should be.
I can rank them.
Go ahead.
I can rank anything.
Yes.
Shout out to being a media person. No. So yeah, number one is Gandhi Loves Children. I re-listened to it today and yesterday, and I was just like, fuck. And we can talk more about Roper in recommendation corner. Roper's a powerful person. But yeah. Second, Havana has to be, it's so singular. No Face is such an insane person. It's such a, I don't know. It's like Preaching in Venice. It's like one of those punk bands that had one album that changed the world and then disappeared off the face of the earth. And everyone's like, what? What happened to television after Marquee Moon? Like it's like Preaching in Havana feels like that. But this is the most like dressed for success that you've been. This is like the album you would put in Target, just like maybe kids would buy. You know what I mean?
Jimmy Fallon.
Fallon, yeah. No, you got to get Wayne on a remix. Get Wayne on a remix and go.
Oh no! Don't bring up Wayne, man. Don't bring up Wayne, man.
We're doing it if it's Rebirth Wayne.
Sharif is only a fan of the worst version of Lil Wayne ever, not the greatest rapper of all time version of Lil Wayne.
Crazy. I'll do Rebirth Wayne on Ash Wednesday remix. Playing acoustic guitar.
I have a feeling that Rebirth Wayne, we're always one step away from Rebirth Wayne.
Even Rebirth Wayne knows damn well that Rebirth Wayne is not having a resurgence.
I feel like Sharif would be in a room with it. He could get it out of him, and yeah, that would be awesome. No, Rebirth strengthened my relationship with Wayne because it's so bravely awesome. It's so bravely terrible. It's a terrible album, but it's so proud of itself.
Yeah.
He was so
He's always had that, man. He's always had that. So like I already felt that way about Lil Wayne. Like he could, he was great and he could do whatever. So I just didn't really vibe with the record because
it's one of the most interesting terrible albums of all time. Rebirth.
Yeah.
It has some really wild shit on. But yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, and it's partially because like the tones, even though like the tones that Dove gives, may be muted. You may feel like they're muted on the first listen. They're not. There's very deep textures here, and layers. Which was the one I was just like, this is so fucking pretty. Yeah.
That interlude is crazy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I Interluda said video game blips, bloops, and ghost chanting. My notes are weird.
Yeah, there you go.
And
I just want credit for titling that track. I thought that that was really creative song titling.
Yep. You did it. You did it.
You try to give a song a title that conveys the feeling and the sound that's coming out the speakers, and I think I nailed it.
Yep, you killed it. But no, there's layers and textures on here, but the tones, like we said about spoon measuring, like that beat will stick in your head, you know, because it's catchy in its own mutated way. And that's what Dove brings to this. It's like these are actually fun songs. Like, it's fun to listen to them. It's not when Kay first listened to Cyber City, he was flummoxed.
Yeah. I like that you was flummoxed. Yes, I was flummoxed. Yeah.
Wait to hear the next album that Sharif made. I didn't produce it, but good God.
Woo. Woo.
About to be reflummoxed.
Yes, yes, you are.
But yeah, no, you guys are so fucking good at what you do that getting you together created a new lane, which honestly was probably pretty hard to do at this point with Sharif, who's got a few different lanes. But Dove knows how to do Dove things, and it's just very centered in Dovedom, you know?
Yeah, Dove is definitely like I said, I love that he's getting his flowers back because he's a one of one. That's like that been the slogan I've been saying for this album. It's a one of one. So you got two one of one artists making a one of one project on a one of one label. So shout out to everybody who's been supporting it, showing love. Got the vinyl, backwoodstudios.com, and we got more stuff coming, so stay tuned for sure.
Yeah, no, it was like, you know, everybody's been amazed by how Dove is so versatile and like doesn't make the same kinds of projects. And I think Dove, you explained it like on the last, we had you on Production Trends, and you were just like, we work for people and we make them sound good. Like, so my job is to work with the artist and help them with their vision. Like, you just don't have the dickhead energy of you must do this. Like,
no. Yep.
One of your superpowers is the absence of dickhead energy.
Yeah, I have my ego, and then if I'm going to collaborate with someone, I'll just go ahead and like leave it elsewhere. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, Kay, do you have any other questions?
No, it was a great conversation.
Thank you.
It's always fun whenever we on. So,
tell me about monsters. Tell me about monsters. We got to talk about the imagery of monsters is all through this album. And you know, Boogie Monster, you know, the notion of monsters kind of comes up again and again, along with religion. One of the questions I had was, is Decay an album that believes in good and evil?
I would say that's kind of I kind of want the listener to answer that question for themselves. Because, like, for example, like, we talking about monsters, but exactly what is that? Is it that's what I'm saying? Is it what you was taught to learn as a kid, on some close your eyes, it's gonna come from the damn it's gonna jump from the closet or jump from under your bed. Like for example, like the song Boogie Monster,
Right.
That's literally a song I had that that song is literally about a conversation I had with a stripper telling me about her abusive father. What song about? Like,
right. Yeah.
so that to me, those are the worst monsters. Monsters in the real world that you can see that steal from people and greedy, all types of shit. Like they run rampant nowadays for a fact.
Father figure spawned in the mouth of madness.
For sure.
Yeah. No, that's great information, man. And thank you for clarifying that and also putting that in the listeners thing to determine that. But if you're listening to Decay, it is good to ask these questions. It's an album that's deep. It's deep. It's very lyrical. It might be my favorite lyrical album of you.
Thank you. No, I will say I was going crazy on like joints like Think Pieces, Phantasm, even measuring smooth techniques, Greenway shoulder pattern. Like I said, that was kind of just the production of Dove that I'm like, yo, these beats are so crazy. I got to do the unthinkable lyrically on these songs, like to bring these beats to life. Like,
yeah. I mean, you grew as a writer on this project, and Dove is a huge part of that reason for that. Like, that is
no,
the story of Decay.
For a fact.
Yep. So, recommendation corner. We're going to recommendation corner. I had some Kate. When you're doing the Sharif week and you're packing a lot of Sharif in, I was cooking hamburgers. I didn't want the smoke detector to go off. I opened all the windows and I'm blasting Sharif, and I'm like, am I going to get kicked out of the neighborhood? But I'm still here, so. But I had to have some albums to counteract it, the energy wise, and so I had like, man, I hadn't really, when I first listened to "Don't Feed the Pigeons" by YL.
Fire.
I didn't take to it immediately. I was like, it's more YL doing YL stuff. And then a bunch of people loved it, so I went back to it, and it's fucking crazy.
Hell yeah. Shout out to the homie Y, man. Him and the homie started the whole Triple R. They just murdered and shut down Japan. So that's beautiful. Real inspirational right there. Shout out to them. They always keep quality with the music. So support everything.
And Roper's ability to give YL the perfect beat over and over again is just fucking great.
That's a match made in heaven right there.
Yeah.
For a fact.
Yeah. And then you add Zumo and Junie, and it's great. I Dress, it's a really smooth, beautiful project. Buy it on Bandcamp. Bonus tracks are worth it. Yeah. Don't Feed the Pigeons. Roper, I don't know, Roper is so interesting to me. It's just, there's so much, I don't know, the beats feel effortless, but so odd. I love Roper. So yeah, that's going to be one of my recommendations. The other one is, and shout out to Dash Lewis. This is Bandcamp Friday.
Oh yeah.
Acclaimed writer Dash Lewis was on the Discord, the RMPP Discord. And we were talking about folk music. There's a lot of rap people that love folk music. So, and Dash Lewis recommended a folk album called The Greater Wings by Julie Byrne. That is just really fucking beautiful, really lyrical. 10 songs, super fucking dope. He recommended it. I immediately copped it and was like, I believe in your taste. Let's go. you know. So yeah, Julie Byrne, yeah, The Greater Wings. So those are the two for me.
Nice.
Dove, what has been the wind beneath your wings? Your iron wings.
I've been listening to the new Casa Overall album a lot. Animals. I've been listening to System of a Down, Toxicity, that old album. A lot of Mitski. I'm a big Mitski fan. She dropped a new single.
Yeah. It's good.
Mitski's ridiculous to me. A lot of weird shit, man. Paris, Texas. That new Paris, Texas album is really
I talked about that last week. Midair. I love Midair.
Really great.
Great. Yep.
Yeah, just a lot of.
Looking forward to that new Mitski album. I mean, it was
a vaporwave artist called George Clanton. Fuck with that his new album. Bunch of weird shit.
I almost feel like Mitski is the alternative rock version of like Jungle Pussy. Somebody who's like incredibly consistent, wildly brilliant, and just like should be way more talked about. But
yeah, I think yeah, both are incredible artists. So apples and oranges, like, but like Mitski, I have a weird obsession with Mitski's last album, Be the Cowboy, or maybe it was 2 albums ago or something.
That was great,
but yeah, it's really great to me. And Jungle Pussy is only hits. I've only heard incredible, ridiculously good songs by Jungle Pussy, one of my favorite artists as well.
Amazing. Good deal. Fatboi Sharif, what are you listening to?
All right. I will say this. Hold on 1 second. I'm just messaging someone about something. My bad.
All good.
Okay, for me, I'll definitely say I'll start off with some old throwbacks. I've been super duper bumping the Stooges Funhouse and 9 Inch Nails Downward Spiral albums just for the past 2 weeks. Like I've been loving those, and I've been in the super zone with those albums that's actively out right now. Newer stuff. I'm in love with the new Zulu album. I don't know if you ever got a chance to tap into Zulu. Rock group from LA. They got an album, The New Tomorrow, that's super fire. Also, the African American sound recordings, the Free Flower Project, is basically like Cities of Eve, but under like a different name.
Oh wow!
And
okay,
yeah, it's a lot of dope like. It's a dope project. Like, I can't even really explain it. Like, but free African American sound recordings, Free Flower. Definitely check that out.
That's dope. No, it's yeah. Oh, and this book of I was on vacation, in Booth Bay Harbor. I was reading books. I finished a graphic novel called 20th Century Men that's dope. And a book of poetry called Time is a Mother by Ocean Vuong. And Def C recommended another book of poetry to me, and I copped that. And it's Bless the Daughter, Raised by a Voice in Her Head by Warson Shire. I don't know
what. Can't see it, but
no, but it's a book. Trust me, it's a book. So I'm excited to read that. I've been enjoying kind of reading the books of poetry and seeing how they're sequenced, and it's just very hard to write a great book of poetry because poems are intense and take a lot out of you each reading. So you can't just read 30 pages of a poetry book. You have to sit with them. It's a different reading experience. So
yeah,
it's kind of cool. Kay, what are you listening to? What are you living with?
You know, it's funny because I actually, so I read Dennis Rodman's biography, Bad as I Want to Be. and in it, it's so funny how the universe works. So in it, he mentions like he listened to Pearl Jam to get like hyped up. So I actually listened to their first album, 10, for the first time.
Whoa.
And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Jeremy spoken.
Super fire, super classic right there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I had my son listen to it when he got his phone, and he had Tidal, and I was like, here, I'm gonna send you albums to hear. And he listened to 10 and he was enjoying it. So yeah. That's cool. That's awesome.
But I haven't gotten to the second, so I'll have to listen to the second, because you mentioned on your road trip you made listen to the second Pro Jam album. So I'll move on to that one.
Oh, and find Funhouse. Find the Stooges Funhouse.
Nah, just listen to. There's this one particular Pearl Jam live compilation. Just listen to that. What's it called? I'll try to find it.
Here you go with the Pearl Jam hit. Pearl Jam hit. Negative.
I'm not hating. I'm saying listen to this one particular live compilation. That's all you really need.
Stooges.
They put out it's an official live album that they put out.
Yep.
Okay. Pearl Jam live.
Also, by the way, shout out to the Venture Brothers movie, Radiant is the Blood of the Baboon Heart, which is fucking awesome. What a fucking crazy time. The Venture Brothers, one of my favorite cartoons ever. And it's one of those things where it got so intense as it went along story-wise that by the time of this movie, we're like, me and my wife are like discussing the plot points to make sure we're up on everything. It's fucking awesome. Classic Adult Swim type shit. So, yeah. Keep following Fatboi Sharif on his MVP run. Keep following Dove on his MVP run.
And keep following Free Music Empire on their MVP run.
Boom! Patreon.
Yeah.
Keep observing K as he talks to mannequins in department stores.
What will tomorrow